Part 43. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 424. As Wang Tianquan finished speaking, everyone around him fell into shock. Grandmaster Li? With great military exploits, he was named the protector of the garrison? Everyone stared blankly at the scene in front of them and looked at the young man. Nai Yuntian, the envoy of the Southwest Guard Army, and Wang Tianquan, the chief of the Special Security Division, actually came for the young man in front of them. Are they talking to the young man in front of them? Is this young man in front of me a master? How is this possible? Oh my God, how is this possible? He is a grandmaster, but this guy is actually a strong master. It turns out that Dawa's newly promoted grandmaster is actually our classmate at Jiangbei University. My dear, who can tell me if this is true? Come on, give me a slap. Everyone around was shocked beyond measure, and disbelieving voices suddenly came out of their mouths. Crack. Someone slapped the person who just spoke. Such a request cannot but be met. Ah! Suddenly, the guy who was slapped covered his face and screamed, and then read lazily. Holy shit, it hurts so much. It's real, it's real. At this moment, everyone's eyes fell on Li Hao. When Lu Hanchinj, Li Lai and others heard Wang Tianquan's words, they stared blankly at the scene in front of them, and their hearts were shocked to the extreme. The protector of the country. He turned out to be the protector of the country. Lu Hanchinj, the city leader of Jiangbei, murmured, no longer knowing what words to use to describe the shock in his heart. Protector of the country? This is the protector of the country. Only those who have made great contributions to Dawa can be named protectors of the country. Protector of the country? This is a position that is superior to that of a guardian envoy. This is why Wang Tianquan was said to be the protector of the garrison just now, rather than the protector of the Southwest garrison. The protector of the nation is not affiliated with the garrison of a certain region, but the garrison of the 9 major regions are all under the jurisdiction of the protector of the nation. In other words, as long as Li Hao nods at this moment, Li Hao can directly become Nai Yuntian's immediate boss. It's actually him. At this moment, Li Lai looked at Li Hao in disbelief, his expression suddenly changed, and a look of horror appeared on his face. Isn't this young man the guy he said he would fire? How could it be him? It's over, Barbie is done. Li Lai wanted to die at this moment. He had just offended the young man in front of him. He didn't expect that the young man in front of him was actually a strong master. Even the big bosses in Beijing came because of him and wanted to protect him. State envoy. Could this be the person he had offended? With just one word, he could be kicked out of his position as principal. What a tragedy! At this moment, Li Lai felt as if he had hit rock bottom. He was filled with regrets and had the urge to vomit blood. His whole body was not feeling well. He even felt worried and fearful, whether the other party would come to him directly later. Trouble. At this moment, Li Hao suddenly felt a surge of anger in his heart, and then he immediately looked in one direction to one side. In the corner there was a beaten and swollen guy. Song Wei. If it weren't for Song Wei, how would he have said such things to Grandmaster Li before? Will Grandmaster Li be fired? That's right, it's all Song Wei's fault. Li Lai saw Song Wei again. After seeing the scene in front of him, his face became extremely pale, and there was a hint of fear in his eyes. How could this happen? How could this happen? How could he be the master? Song Wei said in disbelief, looking at the scene in front of him with wide eyes, feeling that his feet were a little weak and he was about to lose his balance. He actually wants to steal a girlfriend from a master? He actually asked the other party to kneel down and apologize to him. He also asked the other party to give him the sports car. Thinking of this, a sense of fear suddenly spread in Song Wei's heart, and a sense of despair arose. It's over, it's over. A feeling of regret filled Song Wei's heart. The next moment, Song Wei fell directly to the ground again. His whole body was limp and his crotch became wet again unconsciously. I was so scared that I peed my pants again. Li Hao frowned slightly when he heard the voice of Wang Tianquan, the leader of Special Security Division. It turns out that he really came here for himself. Want to make yourself the protector of the country? Because he had previously rescued Nai Yuntian and the members of the Southwest Guards Army, and even killed the strong men on the other side, protecting peace and tranquility. Li Hao couldn't help but feel something in his heart. It seemed that Nai Yuntian had reported what happened before. Moreover, this protector of the country was still a young man. Li Hao saw that the suit of clothes and the epaulets were the same as Nai Yuntian's, but his position was still higher than Nai Yuntian's. Maybe he was granted the title because he was a grandmaster? Li Hao didn't think that just by doing such a small thing, he could directly become a being above the guardian envoy. To put it bluntly, it's still about strength, it's just a pretext to pull yourself into the camp. However, Li Hao didn't have the slightest interest. Since he has become the protector of the country, isn't that why he is a member of the system? Is it official? In the future, if something happens that threatens the peace of Dewa, I will have the obligation to solve it by then, right? Grandmaster Li, no, Ambassador Li Hyogyo. Congratulations. These are your clothes and ID, please accept them. At this time, Wang Tianquan was heard saying to Li Hao again, and the two men behind him, standing straight in uniforms and holding trays, came directly to Wang Tianquan and in front of Li Hao, hoping that Li Hao would take it. At this moment, everyone was staring at Li Hao closely, with uncontrollable fluctuations in their hearts. Not interested. But at this moment, when everyone thought Li Hao was going to come next, Li Hao said calmly. As Li Hao finished speaking, everyone's eyes widened again, and some even covered their mouths. What did I hear? Not interested. Did he refuse? Holy crap, he doesn't want to be the protector of the country. Hiss, are you making a mistake? For a moment, a series of horrified sounds came from the mouths of those around them, and there were even sounds of gasping for air. At this moment, Wang Tianquan and Nai Yuntian in front of them were stunned when they heard Li Hao's voice. What? Not interested? Neither of them expected that Li Hao would say such a thing and reject it directly. Was there any mistake? Protector of the country, this is not something everyone wants to be but cannot be. However, the other party refused so plainly. This is incredible. This. The corners of Wang Tianquan's mouth twitched slightly, and his whole person was already a little uncomfortable. He never expected that when he was ordered to come and grant the title of protector to the young man in front of him, he would refuse. If this matter is not done and is passed back, then he will suffer. Being scolded is secondary, maybe you will still be held accountable. Wang Tianquan quickly said to Li Hao. Grandmaster Li, no. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you. Your position was personally decided by the people above, and it has passed the Supreme Council. If you don't accept it, I really have no shame in going back. Oh. I will be miserable. As the head of the Special Division, Wang Tianquan has always been someone who fawns over him, and he has never lowered his attitude so lowly. At this moment, he even sounded a little begging. Grandmaster Li, please don't. There are only a few people in Dewa who hold the position of protector of the country. Even I am quite unqualified. Only a strong man like you is qualified to do it. Don't be in a hurry to refuse. Beside him, Nai Yuntian's expression also hardened, and he spoke to Li Hao again, hurriedly persuading him. He was already very familiar with Li Hao and knew that Li Hao was a soft-spoken person. I'm really not interested. You go find someone else to do it. Li Hao frowned slightly and said calmly, without looking at the protector of the country at all. Reject. Still rejected. Grandmaster Li, you are the only one qualified to be the protector of the country. Your position is even higher than that of our guardian envoy. As long as you become the protector of the country, no one in the 9 major defenders will dare to obey your orders. Nai Yuntian said directly to Li Hao again. He felt that maybe Li Hao didn't know what was special about this national protector, so he explained again. When Li Hao heard Nai Yuntian's words, his heart moved slightly. Indeed, this position was quite high, but he was not tied down at all. Li Hao didn't want to be tied down. Well, I'm still not very interested. I don't have the time to be a protector of the country. Li Hao said calmly again, if you have the skills to be a protector of the country, why not chat with girls and live a life, wouldn't that be happy? Li Hao is not a saint and will not care about any major issues. He just wants to live his own life without being restrained. Reject. Still refused. Grandmaster Li, becoming the protector of the country will not delay you at all. You don't have to report to work, and you don't have to guard a place. And there are many privileges such as. At this time, Wang Tianquan heard a hint of fear of trouble in Li Hao's voice, and said directly to Li Hao again. You don't need to say any more, I really don't have anything. What kind of privileges do you have? Before Wang Tianquan could finish what he said, Li Hao spoke directly and interrupted him. He wanted to refuse again, but sincerely, Li Hao asked again. Have privileges? Li Hao couldn't help but have doubts. Hearing Li Hao's question, Wang Tianquan couldn't help but feel something in his heart and his eyes lit up. Any drama? There are many privileges. For example, if you become the protector of the country, you will have all the benefits of your level. And you can also get a bonus of millions every year. As long as you become the protector of the country, all the 9 garrison troops will be your subordinates, and all the 9 garrison troops will obey your orders unconditionally. As long as you become the protector of the country, your food, clothing, housing, and transportation will not cost you anything. As long as you become the protector of the country, you will have the decision-making power to kill those who harm Dawa first and then punish them later. As long as you become the protector of the country, you don't have to go to work every day. As long as you become the protector of the country. As long as you become the protector of the country. Wang Tianquan talked about 7 or 8 privileges in succession, all of which were enjoyed directly after becoming the protector of the country. Okay. I agree. No need to say it. This time, before Wang Tianquan finished speaking, Li Hao said directly and agreed directly. From the heart. Because the privileges given by the other party are too many. Moreover, becoming the protector of the nation does not require Li Hao to do anything, nor is there much restriction. Li Hao only needs to take action when Dawa encounters a crisis. Isn't this the obligation of every Dawa person? It is worth it to exchange so many privileges for one identity. Moreover, this identity is not something that ordinary people can have. So, Li Hao agreed, and this time he agreed very readily. That's great. Hearing that Li Hao finally agreed, Wang Tianquan's face suddenly showed a touch of excitement. As long as Li Hao accepted it, his mission would be successfully completed, and he could report back. Congratulations to Protector of the Nation Li. Congratulations to Protector of the Nation Li. Wang Tianquan and Nai Yuntian congratulated Li Hao directly. As for the people behind him, they also said to Li Hao respectfully. Greetings to the Protector of the Nation. Greetings to the Protector of the Nation. Voices resounded neatly in this space, and the sound waves echoed in the sky. The next moment, the 2 people holding trays next to Wang Tianquan handed clothes and certificates to Li Hao. Put these things in my car. Li Hao said lightly, and pressed the car key in his hand. Suddenly, the lights of a Lamborghini Veneno not far away flashed, and then the car door opened directly. Immediately, the two people put the clothes and certificates of the protector of the nation in the car for Li Hao. From this moment on, Li Hao became the protector of the nation. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Hao, and Li Hao was so much in the spotlight. A faint arc appeared at the corner of Li Hao's mouth. From this moment on, Li Hao felt that he seemed to have an extra responsibility and a burden on his shoulders. Li Hao couldn't help but look to the side again. In the crowd, a beautiful figure was looking at him, and her beautiful eyes were full of brilliance. It was Ye Xiun. At this time, several figures squeezed in from the crowd, causing some people's dissatisfaction. "What are you doing? Stop pushing. What are you pushing for?" Three figures squeezed through the crowd, speaking excitedly. "Make way, make way. The protector of the nation is my brother, what's wrong with me squeezing you? Make way, my brother is the protector of the nation." The next moment, three people came to Li Hao, looking excited. The three people were Li Hao's good brothers, Wu Chao, Chen Tao, and Xiaoji. They saw the scene in the crowd, and they were shocked to the extreme, and they couldn't believe it. At this moment, they couldn't help but squeeze over excitedly. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 425. Wu Chao, Chen Tao, and Xiaoji squeezed through the crowd and came to Li Hao. There was a look of great excitement on the faces of the three people. Their brother turned out to be a grand master, and was now named the protector of the country. This is simply something they can't even imagine. Good thing. What a great thing. Brother Hao. Brother Hao. The three of them shouted directly at Li Hao. Even Wu Chao stopped shouting rat and looked at Li Hao with a burning look in his eyes, as if he saw a girl he liked. "Brother Hao, have you really become the protector of the country? Oh my God, my brother is the protector of the country. Who would believe it if I tell you this? Brother Hao, you will be my thigh from now on. I will just follow you." The three people's faces were extremely excited and they said to Li Hao again. When Li Hao heard what the three people said, a smile suddenly appeared on his face and he said lightly, "No problem." The eyes of everyone around them also fell on Wu Chao and the three of them, and some of their eyes were filled with envy. These three people are actually the brothers of the protector of the country. Their thighs are really thick. They are destined to have a successful career in the future. For a moment, everyone looked at the three people differently. Perhaps, this is the so-called, when one person attains enlightenment, chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. At this time again, Lu Hanqinj and others also came to Li Hao one after another and congratulated Li Hao. Congratulations. Congratulations to the protector of the country. When Li Hao saw this scene, his expression did not change much. But the next moment, Li Hao's eyes fell on a figure again, and he suddenly let out a surprised sound. "Oh, isn't this our principal Li Lai? I don't know who said that I was going to be fired before, right?" Li Hao said directly to Li Lai, half smiling. When this voice fell into Li Lai's ears, Li Lai's complexion instantly changed and became extremely ugly. Li, protector of the country, I was wrong." Li Lai suddenly said in a panic again, his feet were a little weak. Next to them, when Wang Tianquan, Nai Yuntian, Lu Hanqinj and others heard Li Hao's words, their expressions froze again, and there was a sharp and very unkind look in their eyes when they looked at Li Lai. "What's going on?" Wang Tianquan said to Li Lai in a deep voice, his expression also changed, "Is this guy going to fire Li Lai? This is not seeking death." Li Lai's face became a little pale. "It's that Song Wei. It's all his fault." Li Lai immediately pointed in a direction behind him and threw Song Wei out, causing trouble to the east. If it hadn't been for Song Wei, how could he have offended Li Hao? Maybe his status would have increased because the other party was made a protector of the country. But at this moment, he, the principal, is afraid that he will not be able to keep it. Song Wei's face turned extremely pale at this moment. At the same time, Song Wei's father Song Renja's expression suddenly changed when he heard Li Lai's words. Unexpectedly, the person who beat his son was the envoy Li Hyuguo in front of him, and his son actually wanted to seek revenge from him. All right? It's over now. At this moment, Lu Hanchinj next to him also looked at Song Renja. Song Renja also saw a hint of coldness in Lu Hanchinj's eyes. It was so miserable that even the city chief was already angry. Song Wei, why don't you get over here quickly? Song Renja shouted directly at Song Wei. When Song Wei heard his father's words, he was startled again. There was no blood on his face. He walked forward in fear, his feet trembling constantly. Dad. At this moment, everyone's eyes fell on Song Wei. For a moment, Song Wei felt a strong sense of oppression, and weakly shouted to Song Renja. Kneel down. Song Renja shouted at Song Wei sternly again, without asking the reason at all, let alone right or wrong. Regardless of right or wrong, it was Song Wei's fault. Who made him mess with someone he shouldn't have messed with? Bang. Song Wei was startled again and knelt on the ground, making a dull sound when his knees hit the ground. What are you still doing? Song Renja shouted again and glared at Song Wei. Song Wei was shocked, and he instantly understood what his father meant. The next moment, Song Wei looked directly at Li Hao and actually bowed to Li Hao. I'm sorry, Ambassador Li Hyuguo. I was wrong. Please go around me once. Song Wei said directly to Li Hao that although he was in front of everyone at the moment, he had to kneel down. At this moment, Song Wei thought of what he had said to the other party before. He wanted to make the other party kneel down and apologize, but at this moment it was the other way around. He was the one who knelt down, and he was the one who apologized. Li Hao looked at the scene calmly, but a mocking smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Is it okay to just kneel down and apologize? Li Hao looked at Song Renja again and said lightly. It's a father's fault if you don't educate your son. Go back and teach your son. Let him know that there are some people he can't afford to offend. Li Hao's voice fell into Song Renja's ears, but it made his heart tremble again. Yes, yes, yes. Song Renja said yes repeatedly, and was about to pull up Song Wei who was on the ground and take him away, but he heard Lu Hanchinj's voice again. Go back and educate your son well. You don't have to come to work tomorrow. As Lu Hanchinj's voice came out, Song Renja's face was as ugly as if he had eaten shit. No need to come to work? Doesn't that mean that he was fired? His job as the mayor's secretary is gone? Mayor. Song Renja shouted at Lu Hanchinj, and wanted to say something. Get out of here. Otherwise, I will make you unable to survive in Jiangbei. Lu Hanchinj said sternly again. As soon as Lu Hanchinj said this, Song Renja felt bad. The mayor's intention was very clear. There was no point in saying more, the result was already determined. But even now, he couldn't survive in Jiangbei. The next moment, Song Renja left with Song Wei in disgrace. Seeing this scene, Li Lai's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and he felt uneasy. Finally, after Song Renja and Song Wei left, the others' eyes fell on Li Lai again. Without waiting for Li Hao to speak, Lu Hanchinj said coldly to Li Lai again. Let's change the president of Jiangbei University. As Lu Hanchinj's voice fell, Li Lai's fate was directly sentenced, and his position as president was directly taken down. At this moment, after hearing Lu Hanchinj's words, Li Lai seemed to have aged several years in an instant. Originally, he had a bright future. But at this moment, because he offended someone he shouldn't have offended, his career path came to an end. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 426. Li Lai, the president of Jiangbei University, was taken down by Lu Hanqinj, the mayor of Jiangbei City, and was replaced directly. Everyone looked at Li Lai, who looked several years older in an instant, and knew in their hearts that Li Lai was finished. Li Hao didn't care about anything. Whether it was Song Wei or Li Lai, Li Hao didn't take it to heart. They were not in Li Hao's eyes at all. Next, Wang Tianquan left directly. He originally wanted to have a meal with Li Hao and wanted to build a relationship with Li Hao, but was rejected by Li Hao. After Wang Tianquan left, Nai Yuntian and others also left directly with the people of the Southwest Garrison Army. Then came Lu Hanqinj and others. A vice president of Jiangbei University became a temporary acting president, temporarily handling the affairs of Jiangbei University. His name was Zhang Yang. At this moment, Zhang Yang was also very excited. Inexplicably, he became an acting president. This was also an opportunity for him. If he did well, he might become the president directly. Zhang Yang knew that this opportunity was also because of Li Hao in front of him. He must learn from the past and handle the relationship with Li Hao well. This is his thought. Brother Hao, you are actually a master. You are really hiding too much. Brother Hao, you have to treat us at noon. You are the protector of the nation. Yes. Brother Hao? You must treat us. Wu Chao, Chen Tao, and Xiaoji said to Li Hao again, asking Li Hao to treat them. Li Hao. Don't you all go to class? Aren't you afraid of failing the course? Li Hao was speechless and said directly to Wu Chao and others. What class? Eating is the main thing. Yes, such a big thing, of course we have to celebrate. Wu Chao and the other three said immediately. Li protector of the nation, you and your brothers go to dinner. With me here, you won't fail the course. At this time, Zhang Yang saw this situation and said directly to Li Hao and others. Ha. Brother Hao, the principal has spoken. Principal, you are so nice. When Wu Chao and the other two heard Zhang Yang's words, they were immediately delighted and excited. Li Hao couldn't help but be startled again. He glanced at Zhang Yang lightly and saw that Zhang Yang's old face was full of smiles. He is quite a man. Li Hao thought in his heart. In this way, there is no need to worry about failing the course because of not attending classes in the future. In this case, let's go. Li Hao said directly to the three people again. Teacher Ye, you will come too. At this time, Wu Chao asked Ye Xiun very tactfully. Well, it's not good for me to have a dinner with you brothers. Ye Xiun was stunned and said weakly. Teacher Ye, don't you live with brother Hao? You are not an outsider. The one who spoke was Chen Tao, who was direct. As soon as Chen Tao said this, Ye Xiun's face suddenly turned red with shame. She didn't know what to say, but she glared at Li Hao again. That meant that she was obviously blaming Li Hao. Most people had heard what Li Hao said before. Now it's all right. She can't wash it off even if she jumps into the Yellow River. Li Hao smiled when he saw Ye Xiun's look, and then said to Ye Xiun lightly. Let's go together. This time, Ye Xiun didn't refuse. Then, Li Hao said to Wu Chao and the other two. What do you want to eat? The revolving restaurant in the TV tower. Grandma's restaurant in Shangulai. Shangla Creek Hotel. Wu Chao and the other two immediately said in unison, saying three places. Li Hao was speechless, glaring at the three people and said again. Can you unify it? Okay. Then rock paper scissors. Rock paper scissors is rock paper scissors. When the three heard Li Hao's call, they immediately decided to use rock paper scissors to decide where to go. Rock. Scissors. paper. Soon, the three of them decided the winner, and Wu Chao won in the end. Then they decided to go to the revolving restaurant in the TV tower where Wu Chao wanted to go. Next, Li Hao got on the Lamborghini Venetian again and took Ye Xiun to the Jiangbei TV tower. Wu Chao, Chen Tao, and Xiaoji drove another car, which belonged to Xiaoji and was a newly bought BMW 320. Only 20 minutes later, Li Hao drove the Lamborghini Venetian to the Jiangbei TV tower. This Jiangbei TV tower, as one of the tallest buildings in Jiangbei, is more than 200 meters high and is also located in a prosperous area. Below is a commercial plaza. The choice restaurant of the Jiangbei TV tower is also a very famous restaurant in Jiangbei. It is located on the upper floors of this TV tower, almost to the top. Eating in this restaurant is a very enjoyable thing, because in this restaurant, you can overlook the prosperous scenery of Jiangbei through the glass. Li Hao and Xiaoji parked the car, and then they took the elevator and went up, and soon they arrived at the revolving restaurant. It was still early, and there were not many people eating in the restaurant. Instead, there were many couples drinking tea in the booths next to them, looking at the scenery outside the glass, and hanging out with friends. Wow! It's so beautiful. Ye Xiun came to the glass and looked at the tall buildings standing tall, but they were all in front of her eyes. She was attracted by the scene and sighed. It was her first time to climb the TV tower in Jiangbei, and it was her first time to eat in such a high restaurant. How is it? It's nice here. I haven't eaten here before. Wu Chao looked at the scene and said to several people. It's pretty good. I'll ask a girl to come with me next time. Xiaoji also sighed beside him. This guy has only young women in his head. In short, he can't live without women. Welcome. Are you going to have a meal or tea? At this time, a waiter said to Li Hao and others. In this revolving restaurant, consumption is a must. If you don't eat, you must at least order a cup of tea. Order. Just order whatever you want to eat. Li Hao said directly to Wu Chao and the other two. So, Wu Chao and the other two started ordering again. After a while, the dishes were ready and served, and several people started eating directly, and even ordered 2 bottles of red wine. Brother Hao, congratulations. Cheers. Wu Chao and the other two congratulated Li Hao again, and toasted Li Hao with their glasses. Li Hao also picked up his glass and drank one glass after another. I am happy today. Even Ye Xiun, who rarely drinks, did not fail to pick up her glass and drank one glass after another under the instigation of Wu Chao and others. However, while several people were looking at the beautiful scenery and eating and drinking, Li Hao's brows slightly frowned. Li Hao noticed that someone sneaked into the door leading to the top of the tower without paying attention. The door was originally closed, and there was even a warning sign posted. Tourists stop. But at this moment, someone completely ignored the warning sign and went in directly. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 427. Someone actually ignored the warning sign and headed towards the top of the TV tower. There were 2 figures, a man and a woman. They were both wearing black outfits and looked like a couple. The 2 wanted to go directly to the top of the TV tower while others were not paying attention. However, Li Hao happened to see this scene. A look of surprise suddenly appeared in Li Hao's eyes, because Li Hao saw a red exclamation mark on the top of the head of the woman among the 2. Hint. It hadn't appeared for a long time, but the prompt appeared again at this moment. Li Hao's heart suddenly moved. A prompt means a reward. This is a good thing. The next moment, Li Hao clicked on the exclamation point above the woman's head without hesitation. Suddenly, another 20,000 yuan was directly deducted from Li Hao's bank card, which was just a drop in the bucket for Li Hao. Now Li Hao doesn't know how much money he has. He has already achieved wealth and freedom. 20,000 yuan really means nothing. Immediately afterwards, the system prompt appears. This is a young girl who likes to pursue excitement. She will fall to her death from a height in 11 minutes. Li Hao was shocked when he saw the system prompts. Will this girl fall to death? Li Hao's beautiful brows instantly wrinkled. And just when Li Hao was checking this prompt, the waiter at the TV tower also noticed the two of them. Two tourists, you can't go up there. It's dangerous up there. Someone said directly to the two of them, trying to dissuade them. But when the two heard the sound, they ignored it and climbed up without looking back. Hey, I can't go up there. Come down quickly. It's dangerous to go up. At this time, other people also noticed this and shouted to the two people. But the two people ignored everyone's dissuasion and continued to go up. At this moment, Yeshun and others also turned their heads, but they saw nothing. What's wrong? Yeshun asked Li Hao. Someone didn't listen to the advice and went up there. Li Hao said lightly. Isn't that why you can't go up? What? Is anyone so awesome? Then it seems to be the top of the TV tower. It's just a bare shelf with nothing on it. Isn't this looking for death? Wu Chao and the other three were also surprised when they heard Li Hao's words. This revolving restaurant is originally on the upper floor of the TV tower, with a floor area of 200 meters. There are no buildings above, and there is no elevator to go up. The top is only 20 to 30 meters at most, but it is just bare. No one is allowed to get on the shelf, except professional maintenance personnel. But at this moment, two people actually went up regardless of the dissuasion. Isn't this the same as seeking death? The next moment, the waiter in the restaurant saw that his efforts to dissuade him were in vain and immediately called the security center. Someone went to the top of the tower. What? Someone went to the top of the tower? Really, they don't know whether to live or die? Look for another place to die. On the other end of the phone was the security manager. Hearing this, he suddenly shouted in shock. It could be heard that the security manager was also shocked. The top of the tower is hollow, without any protection, and at such a high altitude, the wind is very strong, and there is a risk of falling if you are not careful. If the person who went up fell to their death here, then their security would also be responsible. For a moment, the security manager took the walkie-talkie and started making arrangements. At the same time, he even called the police. Call the police first and let the police handle it. Not long after, a man in business attire took a walkie-talkie and took a helicopter to the revolving restaurant, with several security guards behind him. Where are the people? Zhang Daxing asked the waiter. As a security manager, he came to the scene immediately. Although the police were called, the police would not arrive in such a short time. Already up. The waiter who tried to dissuade the two of them just now said to Zhang Daxing. Let's go up with me. Zhang Daxing's expression suddenly changed, and then he said to the people behind him. The next moment, Zhang Daxing led a few people directly up, planning to go up and persuade those two people to come down. Zhou Yun followed behind her boyfriend, wearing a black outfit that showed off her perfect figure. Yun, today is a great day. These 256-meter tall TV towers will be conquered by us. In front of Zhou Yun, a young man who looked to be in his 20s turned his head and said to Zhou Yun. This young man looks ordinary, but he has a rebellious streak. Zhou Yun nodded heavily at the words of this young man, and this young man turned out to be her boyfriend Zhang Fei, with whom they had just established their relationship a few days ago. She and Zhang Fei both have the same hobbies. They like exciting projects, like bungee jumping, rock climbing, and skydiving. They also met while skydiving, and then Zhang Fei launched a fierce offensive against Zhou Yun. A few days ago, Zhang Fei confessed his love to Zhou Yun again while climbing to the top of a mountain and watching the sun rise. Zhou Yun only agreed this week. However, even now, they have not even had an in-depth communication. Ever since, Zhang Fei couldn't hold back anymore and wanted to capture Zhou Yun as soon as possible. But this Zhou Yun yearns for freedom and excitement, and is not interested in falling in love or doing such shy things. Therefore, this time we climbed the TV tower. This was also what Zhang Fei suggested. He wanted to show off well in front of his girlfriend and show off in the circle. The two of them walked up slowly and reached the end of the stairs. Ahead, there is a bare shelf, surrounded by a void. Hoo ho ho. The wind here is very strong, making their clothes flutter. At this moment, all the scenes in Jiangbei were in front of their eyes, and the tall buildings were at their feet, as if they were standing on the top of the world. The weather today is very good, with sunshine scattered and a few stray clouds floating occasionally, and the bustling scenery of Jiangbei can be seen at a glance. So tall. So beautiful. Zhou Yun looked at the scene and murmured again. But the next moment, Zhou Yun looked at such a high person and asked in a low voice, but hesitated a little. Are we really going up there? Above, there is no protection. You have to climb up from the side. There is still a distance of 20 or 30 meters above. Of course. Didn't we agree? Don't worry, I'm here. Zhang Fei said in a deep voice again, but did not change his mind, and immediately reminded Zhou Yun again. Adjust your breathing, turn on the camera, and if you're ready, we'll start climbing. Such an important thing must be recorded with a camera. Zhou Yun nodded directly and turned on the camera on her head. You two, get down here. But at this moment, a man's voice came from behind. Zhou Yun and the others immediately looked down and saw several figures following them, wearing security uniforms. When Zhang Daxing saw the two of them, he suddenly became very angry, and then he said again. Get down here quickly. This is no joke. It's very dangerous up there. Don't you want to live? The two heard Zhang Daxing's words, but did not respond. At this time, Zhang Fei said to Zhou Yun again. Let's go, don't worry about them. Yun, let's go up. Believe in yourself, we will definitely succeed. Zhou Yun nodded immediately. Immediately, Zhang Fei climbed directly upwards again. Zhou Yun also adjusted her breathing, followed Zhang Fei, and climbed directly upwards. The two of them ignored Zhang Daxing at all. Damn it! You are really looking for death. When Zhang Daxing saw this scene, he was so angry that he could only go up again. But when he finally reached the end of the stairs, he did not dare to go up anymore. Boss, this is too high. I can't do it anymore. I'm afraid of heights. Boss, I'm scared too. Even the security guards following Zhang Daxing were pale with fear, and even their feet were trembling. It's really because it's so high here that even a normal person would be scared standing here. Zhang Daxing was also afraid. He gripped the railing tightly and did not dare to go up any further. Damn, I'm really looking for death. I don't care anymore. Zhang Daxing said angrily again. He had done what he had to do, but if someone refused to listen and insisted on seeking death, he had no choice but to watch helplessly. This scene also attracted the attention of many people in the revolving restaurant below. Oh my god, someone actually climbed this TV tower. Are they extreme players? You are so brave. If your hand slips, you will fall down and die. A series of uproarious sounds suddenly came from the mouths of many people. During the restaurant battle, many people looked above their heads and saw the scene above through some glass in the center. Their hearts were not at peace. Can they climb up there? I don't know. But, this is really a joke with your life. If it falls, it will turn into a piece of meat. Wu Chao and the others had no intention of eating or drinking at this moment. They looked at the exciting scene above and said in shock. Li Hao, can they succeed? Even Ye Xiun next to her was asking Li Hao at this moment. her heart was in her throat, and she was faintly worried about the two of them. When Li Hao heard Ye Xiun's words, he shook his head slightly and said lightly, "I don't know what hope is." But Li Hao's brows furrowed. 11 minutes, a few minutes have passed again, and there are less than 5 minutes left. Li Hao saw that the two people were still going up, slowly climbing upwards. The two people's movements were not very fast. They were only 20 meters away. They only climbed about 10 meters. There was still a distance of more than 10 meters above them. Everyone's eyes were on the two of them, and their actions affected everyone's hearts. It's over, it's over. Under the TV tower, many police vehicles had already arrived, and many police officers directly controlled the scene. What's going on? What's going on? So many police officers. What happened? For a moment, many people under the TV tower were also surprised. Look, there seems to be someone on the top of the tower. But at this moment, someone with sharp eyes saw the scene on the TV tower and shouted in shock. "Oh my God, someone is climbing the TV tower and they are almost reaching the top. Damn it, do you not want to live anymore? Damn, no wonder there are so many police. It would be terrible if this thing falls." For a time, many people were still talking in shock, and some even took out their mobile phones, pulled the camera to the farthest distance, and filmed the video at the TV tower. Some people even turned on Douyin directly. In short, many people have noticed what is happening here. More and more people are gathering here. Even people in many nearby shopping mall stores have come out and looked up at the top of the TV tower. Don't gather here. Everyone, get out of the way. The police immediately cordoned off the scene and kept talking to the crowd. If it really falls, it will be very dangerous to hit someone. Above the TV tower, Zhang Fei and Zhou Yun were still attacking the top of the TV tower. "Come on. We'll reach the top soon." Zhang Fei said to Zhou Yun again, "There is only about 10 meters above it." "Well, you should also be careful." Zhou Yun nodded and reminded Zhang Fei above. "Don't worry, it's just a TV tower. It's a piece of cake. I have so many years of climbing experience." Zhang Fei said with a smile again, with a hint of pride in his voice. After saying that, Zhang Fei raised his foot and stepped upward again, stepping on the pipe frame and preparing to push hard. But right at this moment, Zhang Fei's foot suddenly slipped and he stepped on an empty space and almost fell down. "Ah!" Zhou Yun let out a scream, and with quick eyesight and quick hands, she quickly hugged the shelf with one hand and held Zhang Fei in place with the other to help him stabilize his body. Zhang Fei didn't fall down, but his face was pale with fear. "Ah Yun, thank you." Zhang Fei immediately said gratefully to Zhou Yun, feeling frightened in his heart and almost burping, if it weren't for Zhou Yun. "Be careful," Zhou Yun said in a deep voice again. After the words fell, Zhou Yun stretched out her hand and grabbed it, trying to move up again. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew, causing Zhou Yun's body to move, and then her hand suddenly slipped. "Ah!" A scream suddenly sounded from Zhou Yun's mouth again, and Zhou Yun's body was about to fall down. But at this moment, Zhang Fei next to him grabbed Zhou Yun's clothes and prevented Zhou Yun from falling directly. "Ah Yun!" Zhang Fei grabbed Zhou Yun's clothes tightly and cried out. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 428. Zhang Fei grabbed Zhou Yun's clothes, which prevented Zhou Yun from falling. "Ah Yun!" Zhang Fei shouted to Zhou Yun in shock, but felt that he could not catch Zhou Yun. Zhou Yun was completely stunned, her mind went blank, she almost fell, she was already in despair just now. At this moment, Zhou Yun's face was extremely pale, her instinctive desire for survival was completely aroused, and she quickly reached out to grab the shelf next to her. Although she yearns for freedom and excitement, she doesn't want to fall, she doesn't want to die. She is still so young, only 25 years old. She is at the right time of youth and her bright future has just begun. Moreover, she has not even experienced the most important thing in life. It would be really tragic if she died like this. Jo-yoon tried hard to grab to the side, trying to grab the shelf to prevent herself from falling. But here it was more than 200 meters high, and the wind was so strong that Jo-yoon's body was shaking. Seeing that Jo-yoon's current situation was in danger, she was in danger of falling at any time. In desperation, he finally instinctively reached up and grabbed Zhang Fei's arm with both hands. Suddenly, Zhang Fei's body sank, and he almost lost his grip. He was so frightened that Zhang Fei almost wanted to let go. "Ayun, don't grab me, grab the shelf next to you," Zhang Fei shouted in shock. He felt that his whole body could no longer support him. His face was filled with blood and turned red. He felt that his hands were going numb and he could no longer hold on. But at this moment, Zhang Fei still gritted his teeth and held Jo-yoon tightly. "Ah! That woman is going to fall off. Oh my god! It's really going to fall. Oh buy it? Does anyone have any ideas?" At this moment, some people in the revolving restaurant saw the scene above, and they suddenly exclaimed again, with their hearts in their throats at this moment. "This scene in front of me is so dangerous. Inflatable mattress, the inflatable mattress is ready soon. Get out of the way of everyone around you." On the ground, the police tried hard to maintain order at the scene, and some people even directly lifted the inflatable mattress over, and it was quickly filled with air. Although it would not have much effect if dropped from such a height, it was still for the sake of multiple opportunities for the opponent to survive. At this moment, Wu Chao and others had no intention of eating. They looked at the scene above and were very worried. "Damn it, is that woman going to fall?" "Not yet, caught. It's too big now. I'm going to risk my life." Wu Chao and the others immediately said. "What a pity, that girl seems to be pretty good looking." This was said by Chen Tao. "Damn, brother Tao, your eyes are really good. You can see clearly from such a distance. But, no matter how good looking you are, what will happen? If you fall, you will die and you won't even recognize her mother." Wu Chao next to him said speechlessly again. On the other hand, Yeshiun next to her didn't speak, but she had a worried look on her face. But it's at this moment again. Next to him, a figure stood up again. "Li Hao, what are you doing?" Yeshiun suddenly frowned and said to Li Hao. The figure standing up was clearly Li Hao. Wu Chao and the three people next to him also looked at Li Hao in surprise. I only heard Li Hao say lightly, "She's going to fall." Li Hao's words fell into the ears of Yeshiun and Wu Chao, but they made their hearts freeze again. Before they could speak, they saw Li Hao heading forward, not going up, but towards a window on the side of the restaurant. Li Hao calculated the time in his mind. The time given by the system just now was less than 1 minute, more than 30 seconds to be precise. At the same time, above the TV tower, Jo-yoon kept trying to grab the shelf next to her, but failed and could only grab Zhang Fei's arm again. "Ayun, don't catch me. I won't be able to hold on any longer," Zhang Fei said in shock again, feeling less and less energetic, and his body's strength was about to be exhausted and reached its limit. After hearing Zhang Fei's words, Jo-yoon's face changed color and became a little pale. She regretted following him to climb here. She herself was almost out of strength. Her whole body was shrouded in fear. Looking at the high sky below, she felt like her head was dizzy. But at this time, "Ayun, I have no strength. I'm sorry." Zhang Fei, who was blushing, said to Jo-yoon again, filled with a hint of apology. "Sorry. Say sorry at this time." When Jo-yoon heard Zhang Fei's words, A flash of fear suddenly arose in her heart. She realized what Zhang Fei was going to do, and she immediately said to Zhang Fei silently. Zhang Fei didn't want to either, but at this moment he had no choice. If they went down further, they would both fall. Although Zhou Yun is his girlfriend, he doesn't want to die. So. I'm sorry, Ayun. I can't help it. I don't want to die. I'm sorry. Zhang Fei said to Zhou Yun again. Don't want. Zhou Yun shouted in shock, terrified. The next moment, Zhang Fei let go of Zhou Yun's hand in fear. Zhou Yun wanted to hold on to Zhang Fei for dear life, but Zhang Fei broke free. Ah! Immediately afterwards, Zhou Yun let out another frightened scream, and her whole body fell rapidly. At this moment, Zhou Yun's heart was filled with infinite despair and regret. She regretted coming here with Zhang Fei and regretted agreeing to be Zhang Fei's girlfriend. She had chosen the wrong person, and they fled when disaster struck. The other party didn't care about her life or death for his own life. All this happened very quickly, but in an instant, Zhou Yun thought of a lot. Is she going to die like this? She is still so young. She doesn't want to die at all, but because of the wrong decision, tragedy is about to happen to her. There is no way to save the situation. She closed her eyes in despair, waiting for death to come. At this moment. Ah! Ah! Dot. The crowd below saw the scene and screamed in fear. The thing that everyone least wanted to happen still happened. The woman above fell, without giving everyone time to react. The woman had fallen at a very fast speed. However, it was at this critical moment. In the revolving restaurant, there was a figure who opened the window and jumped down almost at the moment when the woman fell. Li Hao. Brother Hao. Yashiun and the others were originally focusing on the woman, but suddenly saw Li Hao jumping out of the window. Their faces were filled with horror, and they immediately shouted at Li Hao. But it was too late, Li Hao had already jumped out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 429. No one expected that Li Hao would actually jump out at this moment. This is a real jump from a building. This is a revolving restaurant, which is more than 200 meters high. Li Hao did not take any protective measures and just jumped down. This scene shocked Yeshiun, Wu Chao and others to the extreme. Ah! He also jumped from the building. Oh my god! Dot. At the same time, in the revolving restaurant, exclamations suddenly rang out from other people's mouths, and everyone's face was full of horror. No one knew why this young man would jump from the building without any signs at this moment. Li Hao. Brother Hao. Yeshiun and others were also shocked. But soon, Yeshiun thought of something again, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. That guy is a master, but he is a cultivator, and he will never die easily. Did Li Hao jump off the building to commit suicide? Of course not. Li Hao was not jumping off the building to commit suicide, but to save the woman's life. He naturally couldn't watch the woman fall to her death. Boom. A powerful aura of cultivation was released from Li Hao's body in an instant. Li Hao's body went directly to the falling Zhou Yun's body, and instantly came to Zhou Yun's side. The next moment, Li Hao directly caught the falling Zhou Yun. In the space, there was a strange force surrounding Li Hao's body, and directly dragged Li Hao's body up, and then the body slowly fell downwards. Zhou Yun, who had closed his eyes and waited for death to come, felt in despair that his body seemed to be held in someone's arms. For a moment, Zhou Yun opened his eyes again, and immediately widened his eyes. There was actually someone holding him, and it was a Princess Hug, holding her whole body in his arms. Zhou Yun saw a handsome face coming into his eyes, close at hand, and he didn't know how many times more handsome he was than Zhang Fei. Zhou Yun was suddenly stunned. Then, she was filled with disbelief. How could this be possible? Zhou Yun couldn't believe what was happening. Because, at this moment, Zhou Yun found that she was being held by the other person, and the two of them were still in mid-air, with dense figures like ants and vehicles below. At this moment, the two of them were still falling downwards, but it was so slow, as if a breeze was slowly dragging them. This scene was like what happened in those fairy tale TV series she had watched before. It was so contrary to common sense, so dreamy. Oh my God! Everyone, look! Who is that? He actually caught that woman. How is this possible? They are floating in mid-air. Oh my God, is this a TV show? Is that guy Superman? Even TV shows don't dare to act like this, right? The crowd below saw this scene, their eyes almost popped out, and they were shocked to the extreme. Oh my God, so handsome. Another beautiful woman saw this scene, and stars appeared in her beautiful eyes. Who can tell me if this is true? The other beauties next to him were also exclaiming, and couldn't help but say, "Pinch me." Suddenly, another boy next to him stretched out his hand and pinched the woman's buttocks. Ah! Snap! The woman who had just spoken screamed, staring at the boy who pinched her butt with her eyes wide open, and then slapped him in the face, saying to him fiercely, "Rogue." The boy covered his face and said with a depressed look, "Didn't you just say I'd pinch you?" Hearing the boy's words, the woman raised her eyebrows and said, "But you don't have to pinch my butt." Zhou Yun was already extremely desperate, and her whole heart had fallen into darkness. But she never thought that a ray of light appeared in the darkness at this moment. Zhou Yun stared at this handsome face in a daze, and even forgot her situation. At this moment, she felt extremely relieved, as if a towering figure had supported the sky for her. Li Hao held the woman in his arms, activated his cultivation to draw spiritual power to protect the two of them, and slowly descended, landing on the ground in the eyes of everyone in shock. Landed safely. Oh my God! It's okay. They are actually fine. How come they are fine? Is this true? It's amazing. Falling from such a high place. Hiss. How is this possible? Is this guy really Superman? But he doesn't wear his underwear outside. Or is he a god? The crowd below, seeing this scene, also boiled completely, exclamations kept ringing, and the sound of sucking in cold air kept appearing. Everyone's heart was greatly shocked by the scene in front of them. At this moment, all eyes were focused on Li Hao and the other person, and their eyes were filled with a touch of strangeness. Li Hao ignored the eyes of these people, but looked at the woman in his arms. The woman in his arms is also very pretty. Although not as stunning as Ye Xiun and the others, she is also a real beauty. Okay. You're okay. Li Hao immediately said calmly to the woman again. Ah. Only then did Zhou Yun react and stood up from Li Hao's arms. At this moment, Zhou Yun felt as if she had stepped out of the gate of hell. She was so close to death. It turned out that they were like that in front of death. Small, everything becomes unimportant. Thank you. Zhou Yun said gratefully to Li Hao, if it weren't for the young man in front of her, she would have died. Although I don't know how the guy in front of me did it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that she is still alive. Just stay alive. But then, Zhou Yun's brows instantly wrinkled again, with a hint of coldness in her eyes. She clearly remembered what happened on the TV tower just now. Zhou Yun felt that she had misjudged the wrong person. Zhang Fei actually gave up on her in a crisis. Thinking of this, Zhou Yun felt only a cold feeling in her heart. Are you guys okay? Soon, the police officers and medical staff gathered around and asked Li Hao. Fine. Li Hao said lightly. Not long after, Yexiun, Wu Chao and others also came down from the revolving restaurant. When they saw Li Hao and the woman who fell from the building were standing there properly, the faces of several people suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. "Brother Hao, are you okay?" Wu Chao said to Li Hao. "Do I look like someone in trouble?" Li Hao said calmly again. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 430. It doesn't look like it? Wu Chao shook his head and said. That's it? Li Hao said calmly again. Brother Hao, you are so awesome. It's okay to jump from such a height. Brother Hao, you are so awesome, you are my idol. Wu Chao and the others said to Li Hao in amazement. Not long after, another group of people came down from the TV tower. It was the security manager Zhang Daxing and a group of security boys. Among them, there was a man in black clothes who was controlled by Zhang Daxing and the others. But at this moment the man's face was already full of fear. Isn't this man the same Zhang Fei? After he let go of Zhou Yun's hand and Zhou Yun fell, Zhang Fei no longer dared to continue boarding, and then flew down in despair, pretending to be controlled by Zhang Daxing and the others. At this moment, Zhang Fei's heart was filled with the scene of Zhou Yun's fall. Zhou Yun's eyes full of despair made him feel a touch of fear and regret. He also had indirect reasons for Zhou Yun's fall. In Zhang Fei's opinion, if Zhou Yun fell from such a high place, there would be no chance of survival. There must be a massive tragedy on the ground, which Zhang Fei didn't want to see at all. But at this moment, Zhang Fei had already walked down, but he did not see the terrifying scene he imagined. Zhang Fei couldn't help but was stunned again, and his eyes swept around. The next moment, Zhang Fei saw an extremely familiar figure standing there, looking at him coldly. Ah! Ghost! Zhang Fei was suddenly startled and screamed, as if he had seen a ghost, terrified. Isn't that figure Zhou Yun? But why is Zhou Yun okay? That's impossible. So Zhang Fei subconsciously felt that he had seen a ghost. At this moment, even Zhang Daxing and others next to him were stunned. Huh? Isn't she the woman who just fell? Not dead? How is this possible? A hallucination. Zhang Daxing and others also opened their eyes wide and looked at Zhou Yun in disbelief. They could see clearly from above that the woman who fell was the woman in front of them. As for what happened next, they had no idea at all. No. How could it be okay after falling from such a height? Zhang Fei, are you surprised that I didn't die? But at this moment, Zhou Yun heard Zhang Fei's frightened cry, her expression suddenly changed, and she suddenly said coldly to Zhang Fei. Zhang Fei felt a sense of disbelief in his heart at this moment. Is it true? Zhou Yun is not dead? Not a ghost. When Zhang Fei heard Zhou Yun's words, he felt doubtful again in his heart, as did Zhang Daxing and others next to him. Immediately afterwards, everyone heard Zhou Yun speak slowly again. If this handsome guy hadn't saved me, I would have died. After saying this, Zhou Yun's eyes fell on Li Hao beside her, and her beautiful eyes looking at Li Hao were filled with gratitude. At this moment, the eyes of Zhang Fei, Zhang Daxing, and others all fell on Li Hao, and their hearts were filled with shock. Was he the one who saved this woman? When Zhang Fei heard Zhou Yun's words, his heart couldn't help but condense again. He didn't expect that he gave up on Zhou Yun, but Zhou Yun was saved by another boy. In spite of himself, Zhang Fei felt an uncomfortable feeling in his heart. What an irony! But Zhang Fei didn't hear anything strange about Zhou Yun. Ah Yun! It's great that you're not dead. Are you okay? I was scared to death. At this moment, Zhang Fei walked straight towards Zhou Yun again, and asked Zhou Yun with a worried look. Seeing Zhang Fei's appearance, Zhou Yun felt very hypocritical. Thanks to you, I didn't die. Zhou Yun spoke slowly again, but there was a hint of coldness in her voice. Zhang Fei couldn't help but was startled again, and then his brows furrowed slightly. He naturally heard the implication of Zhou Yun's words, and it was clear that he was blaming him. Immediately, Zhang Fei said again. Yun, I admit, it was me who let go just now, and I'm sorry for you. But there was nothing I could do about it. If we didn't let go, both of us would have died. It's my fault. Zhang Fei's voice was full of apology. You don't have to be sorry. You are not wrong. It was me who was wrong, I misjudged the person. Zhou Yun said calmly again. You don't have to shout so affectionately. From today on, you and I have nothing to do with each other. There was a touch of coldness in Zhou Yun's words, a feeling of being a giant thousands of miles away, but when Zhou Yun said this, there was a touch of determination in his eyes. What? Yun, there is no relationship anymore? Do you want to break up? At this moment, after hearing Zhou Yun's words, Zhang Fei suddenly became anxious and asked Zhou Yun silently. I heard Zhou Yun say seriously again. That's right. No. I don't agree. Yun, you can't break up with me. I was really wrong. Zhang Fei said to Zhou Yun again in a shocked voice, wanting to persuade him to stay. So what if you don't agree? In short, I don't want to see you again. Zhou Yun said coldly again, her words very firm. No. We can't break up? I don't agree. Zhang Fei shouted loudly again, and he became a little excited. He had never even slept with Zhou Yun, and he had only chased her for a few days. How could he break up so easily? For a moment, Zhang Fei even rushed towards Zhou Yun, wanting to hug Zhou Yun. But Zhou Yun's reaction was also very fast. She avoided directly and hid behind Li Hao. Yun. Zhang Fei still shouted to Zhou Yun, and then his eyes narrowed again and fell on Li Hao. Get out of the way. Zhang Fei said angrily to Li Hao, trying to get Li Hao to get out of the way. Didn't you hear what she said? You have no longer broken up and have no relationship anymore. Get out. Li Hao's eyes flashed when he heard Zhang Fei's words. For this guy who couldn't even protect his girlfriend, Li Hao didn't have the slightest sympathy in his heart, only disdain, and he immediately said to Zhang Fei lightly. At this moment, after hearing Li Hao's words, Zhang Fei became angry again and said sternly to Li Hao. Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you meddle in my affairs? Give way to me. Zhang Fei hasn't finished speaking yet. Bang. Only a bang sound was heard. Ah! A scream suddenly sounded, and everyone was shocked to see that Zhang Fei's body was blasted straight away, blood spurted out from his mouth, and finally fell dozens of meters away. Bang! Another dull sound sounded, and Zhang Fei hit the ground hard, not knowing whether to live or die. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 431. Zhang Fei was directly blasted dozens of meters away and then hit the ground heavily. He didn't know whether he was alive or dead. In short, it was very miserable. Li Hao still stood there, and no one knew what happened. Why did he fly out? What happens? It's so miserable. This guy is so miserable. Not only was I dumped, but I ended up like this. You deserve this. Didn't you hear what the woman said just now? It seems that this guy's hand caused her to fall. For a time, a series of uproar sounds suddenly resounded in this space. You are really looking for death. How dare you speak to Brother Hao like this? Deserve it? Beside Li Hao, Wu Chao and others also sneered when they saw the scene and said that even if Li Hao didn't take action just now, they couldn't help but take action. Behind Li Hao, Zhou Yun stared at the scene blankly, then stood from behind Li Hao to the side, and then said thank you to Li Hao. Thank you. Zhou Yun said it very seriously, and there was a different look in her beautiful eyes when she looked at Li Hao. For some reason, Zhou Yun felt an incomparable sense of security standing next to the young man in front of her. Maybe it was because he had just been rescued, or maybe it was something else. Everyone ignored Zheng Fei, and everyone's eyes were still on Li Hao. Not long after, the surrounding police officers also came to Li Hao and others and said to Zhou Yun, "Beauty, you are so scary. Don't do such a dangerous thing next time. If it weren't for this little brother, you would be dead." These police officers immediately criticized and educated Zhou Yun. Yes. Not anymore. When Zhou Yun heard what these police officers said, she lowered her head and nodded in response, not daring to refute at all. Immediately, the policeman looked at Li Hao again. "Little brother, you are so awesome. Is it okay to be so high? You must be a warrior, right?" Some policemen asked Li Hao in great surprise. The scene just now was simply unbelievable. It was even beyond common sense. It was not something ordinary people could do. Therefore, in their opinion, the young man in front of them was probably a warrior. Warrior? Do you underestimate him too much? Before Li Hao could answer, at this moment, a woman's voice suddenly came out from beside him. When everyone looked, they saw a dashing woman in police uniform walking over. "Officer Xiao! Officer Xiao!" Seeing this woman, the policeman immediately shouted at her. "It's Jiangbei policewoman Xiao Yao Yao. Yes, that's her. I have his vibrato." Next to him, the crowd also surged up and exclaimed, "Isn't the woman who appears in front of me the policewoman Xiao Yao Yao from Jiangbei police station? Xiao Yao Yao can be regarded as a celebrity in Jiangbei. Not only is she beautiful, she is also a people's policeman. She has helped solve many cases. She has many fans on Douyin, and many people know her." At this moment, as soon as she appeared, she immediately became the focus of the audience. I saw Xiao Yao Yao looking at Li Hao again, with a hint of cunning in her eyes, and then she said slowly, "He is not a warrior. He is our Grand Master in Jiangbei. He is also our protector. The youngest young craftsman in Dewa. Xiao Yao Yao just got the news not long ago. In the morning, a big event happened in Jiangbei. Many big guys appeared at Jiangbei University. Lu Hanchinj, the big boss of Jiangbei, and Nai Yuntian, the guardian envoy of the garrison, etc., all gathered at Jiangbei University. Jiangbei University is waiting for the arrival of a super boss from Beijing. And finally, the big boss showed up. But what everyone didn't expect was that Wang Tianquan, the boss of Jinghua and the head of the Special Security Division, actually came for a young man. Following orders from above, he came to appoint the young man as the protector of the country, and even directly made the young man a protector of the country. He became the youngest young craftsman in the history of Dewa. And that young man was suddenly the Li Hao standing in front of Xiao Yao Yao. This Li Hao is also a strong master. When Xiao Yao Yao heard the news, she was extremely shocked and her heart was trembling. At this moment, as Xiao Yao Yao's words came out, the people around him were instantly shocked again. What? He's a Grand Master? Oh my God, protector of the country? Is he the protector of the country who was just named? No wonder it's not okay to jump from such a high place. It's actually the master. Is he a young craftsman? Ah! Love, love, love. I feel that only he is worthy of me. I have decided that I will chase him. For a time, exclamations continued to come from the mouths of the people around him, and everyone looked at Li Hao differently. There was awe of the strong, and some girls seemed to have seen the object of their love. Same, want to sleep. Am I right? Xiao Yao Yao came straight to Li Hao, said to Li Hao with a smile. Officer Xiao, long time no see. Li Hao also said lightly. Yeah. Long time no see. Do you miss me? Suddenly, Xiao Yao Yao said to Li Hao again. When Li Hao heard what Xiao Yao Yao said, he was stunned. He didn't expect Xiao Yao Yao to say such a thing. In Li Hao's impression, Xiao Yao Yao was a cold goddess who didn't smile. Haha, just kidding. Without waiting for Li Hao to answer, Xiao Yao Yao saw Li Hao's appearance and said with a smile. Haha. Of course. Li Hao also said with a smile. The two were already very familiar with each other, like old friends who hadn't seen each other for a long time. Ding dong, the host successfully rescued a falling girl. Congratulations to the host. Reward, God-level driving skills, a castle. But just as Li Hao and Xiao Yao Yao were talking, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded in Li Hao's mind. It was the prompt sound of the system. It turned out that the reward for the prompt just now had arrived. As long as there was a prompt, the reward had never been absent. Just after saving someone, the reward arrived. Hearing the voice of the system, Li Hao was shocked again. God-level driving skills? Is it the driving skill? Can't I drive? Is it necessary to reward? Just when Li Hao thought that this God-level driving skill was just an ordinary driving skill, a message had already entered his mind directly, and then many things were implanted in Li Hao's mind, which was this God-level driving skill. It turns out to be this. Li Hao couldn't help but be shocked again. It turns out that this God-level driving skill is not only for driving vehicles. Rather, it is for cars, trains, airplanes, ships, tanks, rockets, and aircraft carriers. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, and walking in the water, as long as it can be operated mechanically, there is nothing that cannot be driven. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 432. The system rewarded Li Hao with his God-level driving skills. As long as it was mechanical, whether it was flying in the sky, running on the ground or walking in the water, Li Hao could directly drive it. Pretty cool. Li Hao sighed in his heart. The God-level driving skills rewarded by the system are quite good. Even if he doesn't need them most of the time, he will definitely use them sometimes. In addition to this God-level driving skill, the system also rewarded Li Hao with a castle. Li Hao was shocked. How much is a castle worth? There aren't many castles in the whole world, right? And most of them are abroad, and they are probably owned by the top wealthy people of the royal family. Last time, he was rewarded with a royal palace, which he had not even stayed in for a few days. There was also a winery, which Li Hao had not even had time to receive, so there was another castle. The system is really YYDS. It's actually in the Sunset Country. However, Li Hao saw from the system prompt notes that the name of this castle was William Castle, and its address was in Sunset Country. For a moment, Li Hao became even more curious about this castle. Next, I plan to go to the Sunset Country. The system rewards me at the right time. Could it be that I knew I was going to the Sunset Country and deliberately rewarded me? Li Hao expressed doubts about this, but this was a good thing, so Li Hao didn't pay too much attention to it. It was just as well. He went to the Sunset Country and went directly to the castle to take a look and take it over. At this time, there was another ring in Li Hao's hand. The ring was black, made of unknown material, and had a flying dragon carved on it. And this ring was given to Li Hao by the system. This ring was the symbol of the owner of the castle. Below the TV tower, the crowd gradually dispersed. Let's go too, Li Hao said to Yexiun and others. Yexiun nodded and prepared to leave directly with Li Hao. Brother Hao, where are we? Wu Chao asked Li Hao again. How do I know? I don't know what you want to do, Li Hao said lightly, and then prepared to leave. Li Hao. Wait. But at this moment, the voice of the woman next to her came again. Zhou Yun shouted to Li Hao, causing Li Hao to stop immediately and look at Zhou Yun in confusion. What's wrong? Is there anything else? Li Hao asked Zhou Yun doubtfully. Can you add me on WeChat? Zhou Yun said weakly to Li Hao again. Sure. The next moment, Li Hao said calmly, then took out his mobile phone and added a WeChat friend to the other party. Next to them, Wu Chao and others looked at the scene with strange expressions. Then, Li Hao took Ye Xiun towards the parking place. But when Zhou Yun saw Li Hao and two people actually getting into a Lamborghini, a look of surprise appeared in her eyes. Why didn't we meet earlier? If she had met Li Hao earlier, nothing would have happened to Zhang Fei, Zhou Yun thought in her heart. Compared with the young man in front of him, Zhang Fei was really far behind. But it's not too late now. Zhou Yun murmured again, with a hint of determination in her eyes. Li Hao drove the Lamborghini Poison directly back to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. Villa No. 13. Li Hao and Ye Xiun walked in directly. Chu Qing'ai, Mo Bai, and Ye Hongzia were not there, and they didn't know where they were. It wasn't until the afternoon that the three of them came back with a lot of things, carrying large and small bags. There are clothes, shoes, snacks, and even some vegetables. The three of them seemed to have just gone shopping. Li Hao transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars to Ye Hongzia, letting him spend as much as he wanted and buy whatever he wanted. However, Li Hao didn't expect that the other party actually knew that when buying vegetables, he would carry already killed chickens and fish. Class. Could it be that the other three have figured it out and want to cook for themselves? Li Hao. No, we just bought vegetables, as well as freshly killed chicken and fish. Let's go cook. But at this moment, Ye Hongzia said directly to Li Hao and handed the dish in his hand to Li Hao. Hearing Ye Hongzia's words, Li Hao was speechless. Did he buy the love for himself? Do it yourselves. Li Hao said directly. But your cooking is delicious. Chu Qing'ai next to him said again. At this time, seeing Li Hao's unhappy look, Ye Hongzia said coldly again. What? Aren't you happy? If you don't do it, then return all the things in my cave. What? Return those things from her cave to her? How is that possible? Now that those things are all mine, how can there be any reason to give them back? Do it, I'll do it right away. As the saying goes, those who eat people are soft-mouthed and those who take them are short-handed. Li Hao didn't want to give those things back, so he said it directly. Isn't it just cooking? A piece of cake. It just so happens that I cook a meal for everyone and eat it together, and I just want to tell you something. As a result, Li Hao directly took the talents from Ye Hongzia's hands and got into the kitchen. After Li Hao entered the kitchen, the three girls sat directly on the sofa, eating snacks, watching TV, and even playing with their mobile phones. It was very comfortable. The next moment, Li Hao directly displayed his god-level cooking skills, and then turned on all firepower. Not long after, there was the crisp sound of chopping vegetables, and then the sound of cooking. Just over 20 minutes later, a fragrant aroma wafted from the kitchen. Wow, it smells so good. What did Li Hao do? It's so delicious. I really want to eat it. Is Li Hao ready? For a moment, Chu Qing'ai and the other three couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. I'm going to help. Chu Qing'ai said again, and then got into the kitchen. When she came out, she had already brought out a large plate of cooked fish. Then, one plate after another was brought out. Soon, Ye Hongzia, Mo Bai and even Ye Xiun also sat directly at the table. A man and four women took it as a matter of course and started eating directly, devouring their food. It's so delicious. Li Hao, why are the dishes you cook so delicious? None of the dishes cooked by restaurants outside are as delicious as yours. While eating, Chu King Ai and others couldn't help but marvel at Li Hao. It's not like they haven't eaten the dishes cooked in the restaurant before, they are far worse than those cooked by Li Hao. Haha. It's delicious. If it's delicious, eat more. You won't be able to eat the food I cook in the next few days. After hearing what Chu King Ai and the others said, Li Hao laughed again and said lightly, "Ah." When the four girls heard Li Hao's words, they couldn't help but feel surprised again. Why? Chu King Ai couldn't help but ask again. I'm going to go abroad. I have some things to do. I'm afraid I won't be back for a short time. Li Hao said directly again, telling him that he was going abroad. At this time, even Ye Xiun frowned, as did Chu King Ai and others next to him. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 433. What are you doing abroad? Chu King Ai asked Li Hao again. There's something to do. Li Hao said lightly, but he didn't say it specifically. He couldn't say that he wanted to prevent his assistant from marrying someone else, right? I want to go too. Chu King Ai said directly again. When Li Hao heard Chu King Ai's words, he was speechless and said in a deep voice. What are you going to do? I'm not going to play, but I have something serious to do. How about we go too? At this time, Mo Bai next to him rarely spoke. Hey, there's no need. There's really no need. I can go alone for as little as 3 to 5 days, or as much as 10 days and a month and a half. Li Hao said directly again. He didn't want to cause trouble. If he took Ye Hongxiu and the others with him, there would be trouble. 3 such beautiful women might cause some trouble even if they were standing there. Beauty is a disaster. I don't care, I'm going. Chu King Ai said without giving up. On the other hand, Ye Xiun next to her didn't say a word. She ate her food silently with a stern look on her face. She didn't know what Ye Xiun was thinking. Qing Yi, Bai Yi, you two are right here, I will follow him. But at this moment, Ye Hongxiu said again, and then looked at Li Hao and asked. How? Li Hao. All right. Li Hao suddenly sank, nodded again, and agreed. Although she didn't want to cause trouble, Ye Hongxiu's own strength was extraordinary and she was in the true realm of earthly immortals. There was probably no one in the entire continent who could defeat her. And if you go to the Sunset Kingdom to awaken the spirit of the fallen Holy Grail, you need to go to the Sunset Kingdom's altar of light. I'm afraid you'll have to meet foreign professional monks, and you might run into some trouble. But Ye Hongxiu's presence is also the greatest safety guarantee. Even if Li Hadang no longer refuses. It wouldn't be so boring if there was someone with me along the way. Even Ye Hongxiu had spoken. Even if Chu King Ai and Mo Bai wanted to go again, they still gave up. When will you leave? Ye Hongxiu asked Li Hao again. Just tomorrow. I'll see which flight is available. Li Hao said calmly again, it is better to choose a day than to hit it. However, Li Hao still had to choose a flight. Li Hao did not plan to take his own private plane, but wanted to keep a low profile. The next moment, Li Hao took out his mobile phone and started to inquire. Just in time, there is a flight tomorrow. Li Hao said calmly, and then made another phone call. Hey, Mr. Li. What are your orders? There was another man's voice on the other side of the phone. It was Li Hao's personal assistant at Asia Airlines. As the boss of an airline company, Li Hao, it is not an easy matter to get 2 tickets. Prepare 2 tickets for 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, too. Li Hao said lightly. Okay, Mr. Li. The next day, Li Hao drove a Lamborghini towards the airport and disappeared in just a moment. Ye Xiun watched the car driven by Li Hao disappear and looked away this time. It's time for you to go back. Ye Xiun murmured that her family had urged her many times to go back to the Magic City, but Ye Xiun kept delaying. Now seeing that Li Hao was leaving for a while, Ye Xiun immediately decided, it's time for me to leave too. Li Hao was speeding on the road in his Lamborghini Poison, attracting the attention of many people. But Li Hao didn't care. Li Hao was still wearing simple casual clothes, while Ye Hongzhi was wearing a skirt, which completely showed off her perfect figure. Soon, the two arrived at Jiangbei Airport. Li Hao parked the car and then walked inside with Ye Hongzhi. Inside the airport, there was an endless stream of figures, people coming and going, some rushing past, some dragging luggage, and others sitting on waiting chairs playing with their mobile phones. Li Hao walked in with Ye Hongzhi, and many eyes fell on Ye Hongzhi. It's really because Ye Hongzhi is so beautiful, tall, and well-shaped, and has a cold and arrogant temperament. In the eyes of everyone, Yan Ran is a real goddess. Without any hindrance, Li Hao and Ye Hongzhi exchanged their boarding passes and boarded the plane directly through the VIP channel. Then, the two of them sat directly on their seats. Both of them were in first class, which was arranged by the Asia Pacific Airlines assistant. Not long after, more and more tourists boarded the plane. Just after a while, the plane was almost full, with only a few seats left. It was obvious that they had not come or not caught the flight. But the plane waits for no one. However, just as the plane was about to take off, next to where Li Hao and Ye Hongzhi were sitting, another figure sat down. It turned out to be a young foreign girl, who looked to be in her 20s, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Li Hao saw this woman's face in an instant. Li Hao's brows condensed again. This woman is actually a saint. Li Hao did not expect that the woman in front of him was actually a saint. She looked young, but she was already somewhat powerful. Li Hao glanced at the woman indifferently, and the woman also looked at Li Hao, and then there was a hint of coldness in the woman's eyes, as if she didn't like the way Li Hao looked at her, and there was a hint of vigilance in her eyes. Li Hao didn't care about this woman. But in an instant, Li Hao's brows frowned slightly. Because, in Li Hao's spiritual perception, among the people on this plane, in addition to this woman who was a saint, there were actually several professional practitioners. But these people found their seats and sat down, restraining their breath, as if they were ordinary people. However, Li Hao felt something was wrong. Li Hao, there are several cultivators on this plane. At this time, Ye Hongzhi next to him also said to Li Hao. As a powerful earth immortal, everything that happened on this plane naturally could not be hidden from her perception. Yet, Li Hao nodded indifferently, thinking that these people should have some plan. But at this moment, the other party did not move at all. Just like a tourist taking a plane, Li Hao had no reason to do anything. Let's wait and see. Li Hao said lightly again. Rumble. As the sound of the plane engine resounded throughout the space, the plane started to move and slowly began to accelerate. Whoosh. Soon, the plane rushed directly into the sky and headed towards the direction of Sunset Country.